You were fired from The View. I think we all were. Like, you...
I mean, duh, everybody gets...
Hello, and welcome to quite a monumental day here on The View. After 16 seasons, a monument is leaving.
A circle of friends came to see her off. Regis, Tony Bennett. And she got a kiss from Barbara, who reminisced about meeting her and knowing that Joy deserved to be right there at The View.
This was the kind of story no one expected to blow up. A shocking arrest, a massive lawsuit, and a famous television personality right in the center of it all. Joy Behar, one of the loudest voices on The View, is now making headlines, for all the wrong reasons. Reports claim she was stopped at the airport, just moments before boarding a flight. She was allegedly trying to flee the country, but the burning question is, why?
For the cackling witch herself, Joy Behar from The View, whose jealousy is something to behold. Here is her assessment of Trump's new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
The ever-empowering feminist, Joy herself, everyone. And this is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
I mean, how dare she objectify a woman with a sexist rating system, but it's such a typical thing from a 1.5.
Joy Behar, often called the cackling queen of controversy, couldn't keep her opinions to herself again. And this time, it's backfiring in the worst way possible. It all began when Behar took a nasty swipe at Trump's new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. And this jab wasn't just political, it was personal. And let's not forget, this was during Leavitt's very first press briefing. Not her first job, but her first official appearance in that role. What a brutal welcome. The irony couldn't be louder.
Goldberg chimed in too, suggesting Leavitt only got her job because of wokeness.
Yeah, I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
This country that we're in was settled by indigenous people, right? And yet they named the country after an Italian white man, Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah.
That's what America is named after. Amerigo Vespucci, a white European. Why is it named after a white man?
Well, let me ask you.
Joy Behar, who has spent years waving the flag for feminism, is now being accused of sexism herself. Shocking, isn't it? People are calling her out left and right. Joy's just jealous, some say.
I think I'm going to miss the friends that I have here.
Others claim she crossed a line that even her most loyal fans can't defend. The criticism didn't just come from conservatives. Liberals, moderates, and everyday viewers were furious. They couldn't believe what Joy had said. She's always preaching about women's rights, one angry viewer posted. And now she's tearing down a younger woman because of her appearance? Hypocrite. And it gets worse. Joy's comments sparked a thunderstorm online. Tweets were flying. Facebook was burning. News headlines were exploding with rage.
Everybody gets fired from The View. I was on a cruise when Bill Getty called me and said that you were no longer there.
I believe in getting fired because you don't have to make the big decision of giving up the money. That's basically it. You know, when I got the axe, first of all, they came to my room. They looked at me and I said, am I being fired? And they went, And I said, yes, good. I really wanted to get out.
Critics accused Joy of undoing decades of progress in one careless moment. You don't judge women by looks, they said. Isn't that what you taught us, Joy? Even some fans of The View were turning against her. The audience that once cheered her on was suddenly divided. Some booed, others gasped. Some people tried to defend her, saying, she's a comedian. It was a joke. But most weren't laughing this time. It was way too personal. It didn't stop there. Oh no. One comment snowballed into something huge. Sponsors started pulling out. Advertisers wanted nothing to do with the drama. ABC executives were panicking. Their golden talk show was sinking fast. They'd seen scandals before, but never one that burned this hot.
My manager put the information on Deadline Hollywood.
Yeah.
The next day, Diane Sawyer announces it on World News Tonight. It's like, okay, Putin and Joy Behar. So crazy. What? So then Barbara saw it, and they announced it before I could announce it on The View.
Right.
So that Monday, she said to me, "You've been here so many years, you could have announced it on The View." And I said, "Well, when your book was out, you announced it on Oprah." And she said, "Two wrongs don't make a right."
And then came the petitions. Viewers weren't just angry, they were demanding action. Hundreds of thousands signed online, begging ABC to fire Behar immediately. Suddenly, Joy wasn't just a co-host, she was a liability. The network went into crisis mode, and the pressure kept building every minute. Joy tried to defend herself, of course. She claimed, "My words were taken out of context." But the damage was already done. Too little, too late. And then, boom, Karoline Leavitt hit back. And she didn't hold back one bit. She wasn't interested in jokes or apologies. She went straight for the courtroom. That's right. Leavitt filed a $50 million lawsuit against Joy Behar. A massive, high-stakes legal battle that could destroy reputations forever. In the lawsuit, Leavitt accused Behar of making false, damaging, and malicious comments. She said Joy's words were meant to ruin her image publicly.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
For someone working in politics and public communications, reputation is everything, and Leavitt wasn't about to let it be dragged through the mud. Legal experts quickly weighed in, and their verdict was brutal. This could be one of the costliest defamation cases in daytime TV history, they warned. If Joy loses, it's not just about the money. She could lose everything. Her job, her credibility, her legacy. All of it could go up in flames. Behind the scenes, ABC was in full meltdown mode. Sponsors were bailing, fans were livid, and executives were running damage control nonstop.
In this emergency that we're in, I think that behooves artists to come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump, because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be, and find the candidate that you feel both are who fits the category of where we want to be. And that's it. And that's what you vote based off of. Who you highlight and how you choose to highlight it on whatever platform you have is your prerogative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's really, you know.
And then came the real shocker, the twist no one saw coming. Reports started flooding in that Joy had booked a one-way ticket out of the country. That's right, she was allegedly trying to flee to Italy, her ancestral homeland. But the timing? Suspicious doesn't even begin to cover it. People immediately began to speculate. Was she trying to skip out on the lawsuit? Was she hoping to vanish before facing the music? But she didn't make it far. According to witnesses, TSA agents and federal officers were already on high alert and waiting at the gate. They stopped her right there at the airport gate. Witnesses say Joy Behar looked stunned as agents moved in. Cameras were out. People were gasping. Some travelers even caught the whole thing on video. Within minutes, the footage was all over social media. Joy Behar arrested at the airport, the headlines screamed. At first, it wasn't clear. Was she really arrested? Or just detained for questioning? Either way, the public saw one thing: a woman trying to run from consequences. Authorities later confirmed that Joy had been stopped and questioned over suspicions of evading legal proceedings. Talk about drama at 30,000 feet. The optics were terrible. One of America's most recognizable TV faces, caught up in scandal, surrounded by law enforcement, all in front of a stunned crowd. ABC couldn't stay silent any longer. Just hours after the airport incident, they dropped the hammer. Joy Behar was officially removed from The View. No sugarcoating, no press conference. Just a cold, final statement.
So, how you feel?
I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
My takeaway is that the system works. We live in a democracy. People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made, but I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation arises.
Joy Behar is no longer affiliated with The View. Just like that, it was over. Decades of talk show legacy gone in a flash. Her firing sent a message loud and clear. ABC was washing its hands of the chaos. But the questions didn't stop there. Could Joy fight back? Would she go to court and defend herself? Or was her career already in ashes? And what about Karoline Leavitt? She had turned one insult into a full-blown national moment. The lawsuit was just the beginning. As the media swarmed, another clip of The View resurfaced, where co-host Sunny Hostin chimed in about Leavitt's job.
Joy, I see we only have 1 minute left. My handsome fiance traveled all the way here from Jacksonville, Florida, and he is in the audience. Girl, I'm talking about my man. No, boo. I'm talking about my man. We're getting married. I'm so glad that he's here. He's a Democrat. I'm a Republican. We get along just fine. Of course, he's my husband. He's going to be my husband in April. And I'm so happy that he's here with me, and he brings me such joy. And I hope that you one day can find that kind of joy in your life. Oh, please.
And her words didn't help either. She said there will be no wokeness here, Sunny snapped. Without that wokeness, she might not even have that job. More fire added to the blaze. The backlash only grew stronger. Viewers were furious that women on the show were belittling another woman's success with smug arrogance. The scandal spread like wildfire into Hollywood, politics, and beyond. Everyone had something to say. The country was completely split. Some celebrities defended Joy, saying she was just being herself. Others slammed her, calling it a betrayal of everything she claimed to stand for. Even political commentators joined the fray.
He's going to hunt you down. He's going to find out what's going on. And that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really corrupt and goofy systems and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
This is why conservative women just do their thing and ignore the noise, one said. You'll never win with The View. Meanwhile, the show was in crisis. Ratings were plummeting. Advertisers were disappearing. Some wondered, is this the end of The View? Joy Behar had been the loudest voice on that stage for years. But now, she was being erased from the very show she helped build. As for her legal trouble, it was just getting started. The lawsuit was moving fast, and lawyers were already preparing for a courtroom showdown. And Karoline Leavitt? Her name was everywhere. What began as a cruel remark became the biggest PR moment of her career. She didn't just survive the insult, she turned it into power. And now, she was being praised as a rising star in both media and politics. Talk show hosts, pundits, and political figures were calling her smart, graceful, under fire, and the future of conservative communication. One commentator even said, "This woman went toe-to-toe with Joy Behar and came out stronger than ever. That's no small feat." As Joy Behar sat in silence, her once loyal fans began to vanish. Even the most dedicated defenders grew quiet. It was a dramatic fall from grace. The woman known for speaking her mind had finally said the one thing she couldn't take back. And while Joy's career appeared to crumble, Leavitt's momentum only grew. Headlines praised her for standing up and fighting back, with facts, not insults.
She'll be great. She's young, but she's wise beyond her years. And she has access to the president, which is something someone didn't have. And that would be the person in the last 4 years until towards the end when they would let her have access. And also, Karine Jean-Pierre would say that Joe Biden was running circles behind the scenes at the White House. That absolutely wasn't true. And if you want to trace directly how all of the Democrats lost, you can go right back to the biggest lie was that one, and they perpetuated it from there. Reminds me of when Mark Cuban said that the president doesn't surround himself by anybody smart. And Joy Behar and those guys, of course this was going to happen. This is why conservative women just have to move on, do their thing, and not worry about the criticism from folks like that.
This wasn't just about one comment anymore. It became a battle over respect, professionalism, and the double standards women face in the spotlight. Support for Leavitt poured in from across the country. She handled it with class, one woman tweeted. Joy could learn something from her. As the dust settled, the public couldn't help but wonder, will Joy Behar ever return to TV? Or is this the final curtain? Even if she avoids jail or financial disaster, her image has been scorched. Networks will think twice before giving her another platform. Some insiders say she may end up on a smaller podcast or internet show. But mainstream media? That door might be closed for good. Meanwhile, Leavitt's camp is already exploring more opportunities, more interviews, political appearances, and possibly her own show. She proved that you can't be bullied out of your success, not by politics, not by insults, and not even by media giants like The View. In the aftermath, Joy Behar stayed quiet. Something almost unheard of for the woman known for never holding back. But maybe this time, silence was all she had left. Her legal team scrambled behind closed doors, trying to figure out a strategy. Should she settle? Should she apologize? Or should she fight to the bitter end? But the public wasn't waiting for answers. They had already made up their minds. And many believed the fall of Joy Behar was long overdue. Years of controversial takes, dismissive remarks, and smug laughs had finally caught up with her. And this time, the blowback wasn't going away.